Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're falling behind in life? Like no matter how hard you try, everyone else seems to be moving faster, learning quicker, speaking better, achieving louder, while you're stuck watching from the sidelines, wondering, when will it be my turn? You scroll through your feed. You see people launching businesses, speaking fluently, showing off perfect bodies, earning money, creating, performing. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "What's wrong with me? Why am I not great at anything yet?" But let me tell you a secret, a truth the world rarely speaks about. Experts are not born, they are built in silence. In the early mornings when nobody claps, in the late nights when the world sleeps, in the boring hours when motivation dies and only discipline remains. Mastery isn't found in talent, it's found in obsession. You see, every person you admire, every fluent speaker, every successful creator, every confident leader once stood exactly where you are now. Uncertain, unseen, and ordinary. They didn't start with a gift. They started with a decision to keep showing up when no one noticed, to practice when no one cared, to believe when no one believed in them. So before you compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20, stop and ask yourself this. Have I really given my dream everything? Have I practiced in silence? Have I been patient enough to let greatness grow roots before it blooms? Because that's where mastery begins, not in applause, not in talent, but in quiet persistence. This message is not just for your ears. It's for your soul. It's for the part of you that knows you are meant for more. The part that's tired of scrolling and ready to start building. The part that wants to stop watching others succeed and finally become the one who does. Maybe you've tried before and failed. Maybe you've started and quit. Maybe you've believed that you're not the talented type. But let me tell you something. Talent is overrated. The real difference between you and the people you admire is not ability, it's repetition. It's focus. It's the willingness to keep going when everyone else stops. You don't need a new app. You don't need a new course. You don't need permission. You need a code. A code that has built millions of self-made masters. People who started from nothing but refused to stay there. A code built on silent effort, painful practice, extreme patience, and an unshakable obsession with growth. And that's exactly what this journey will give you. Because this is not just a motivational talk. This is your awakening, your blueprint, your system for mastery. By the time you finish listening, you won't just understand how to become an expert, you'll feel it. You'll see the world differently. You'll see yourself differently, and you'll finally understand that the question is not, can I do it? The question is, will I stay long enough to become it? So as you listen, don't just hear my words, feel them. Let them challenge you. Let them break the walls of doubt you've built around yourself. Because after today, there's no going back. No more waiting. No more someday. Today's the day you stop being the observer of other people's greatness and start building your own. Welcome to the Code of Mastery. Let's begin. Rule 1. Kill the talent myth. Truth call out. You think you're not enough. You think others were born, gifted, fluent, confident, talented, and you were left behind. That's a lie. One of the most dangerous lies in the world. Because the moment you believe they were born for it, you quietly tell yourself, I wasn't. And that single belief kills more dreams than failure ever could. The psychology behind the lie. We love to explain success with talent because it protects our ego. It gives us a safe excuse. If they're naturally good, then our lack of progress isn't our fault, it's fate. But that's the comfort trap. In reality, every expert you admire started as a mess. Confused, insecure, awkward. They simply stayed longer in the arena where everyone else gave up. You're not missing talent, you're missing time. You're not behind, you're just early in your process. Framework, the anti-talent code. 1. Replace comparison with curiosity. Ask, how did they practice? Not, why can't I do that? 2. Reframe failure as feedback. Every mistake is a data point, not a death sentence. 3. Stay a beginner longer. The longer you endure awkwardness, the faster you grow. 4. Fall in love with process, not applause. Bonus for English learners. Each time you feeling bad at English, replace it with, I'm still training. Practice saying, I'm not untalented. I'm just early. Then shadow this line aloud 3 times. That's how you rewire belief, not with grammar drills, but with identity language. Emotional close. Stop asking, am I talented? Start asking, am I training? Because talent fades, but training compounds. Slogan. Obsession is greater than talent. Once you destroy the myth of talent, you face a new question. If I can learn anything, what should I learn first? That leads us to your next mountain. Rule 2. Pick one mountain and go all in. Truth call out. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're scattered. They want to learn English. Start a business. Get fit. Build confidence. Read daily. Travel. Become everything but give 25% to each. And 25% focus produces 0% mastery. The psychology of scattered energy. Your brain loves new goals because they give dopamine the feeling of progress without real progress. Every time you start something new, your mind whispers, see, you're improving. But improvement without depth is illusion. Masters know this. Depth beats variety. Imagine your attention as sunlight. Spread too wide, it warms nothing. Focused through a lens, it can start a fire. Storytelling. The Bruce Lee principle. Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's focus. That's mastery. He didn't chase every technique. He perfected one until it became instinct. You don't need more hobbies. You need a direction that consumes you. Framework. The One Mountain Code. 1. Choose one skill for 3 years. Imagine what would happen if you gave one skill your full energy for 36 months. 2. Define what mastery looks like. Example. Speak English fluently without translating. 3. Design daily rituals. 12 hours of deliberate practice beats 10 hours of random scrolling. 4. Protect your calendar. What's not scheduled won't happen. 5. Delete distractions disguised as growth. You don't need 5 apps to learn English, you need one voice and repetition. Bonus for English learners. Pick one core skill this year. Speaking, listening, or writing. Commit to it daily. Shadow one creator. Repeat their tone, rhythm, and mindset. Speak this affirmation aloud. I'm not doing everything. I'm doing one thing extraordinarily well. Emotional close. You can't climb 10 mountains at once. Choose one and make it sacred. Because divided energy creates divided results, but focused fire melts everything in its path. Slogan. Pick one mountain, burn the map. But once you've chosen your mountain, something darker appears. Boredom, pain, loneliness. The motivation fades, and this is where most people disappear. The masters, they keep showing up. Rule 3. Show up daily. Even when it hurts. Truth. Call out. Anyone can show up when it's exciting. Few can show up when it's quiet. That's the real separator. Because mastery isn't built in highlights, it's built in habits. The psychology of consistency. The human brain confuses motivation with momentum. When we feel inspired, we act. When we feel tired, we stop. But true masters reverse that. They act first, and the feeling follows. Neuroscience calls it behavioral activation. Action creates emotion, not the other way around. So when you move your body, open your notebook, start your session, you're not waiting for motivation. You're manufacturing it. Storytelling. The 4:30 a.m. writer. There was a man who woke up every morning at 4:30 a.m. to write. No followers, no deal, no audience, just the page. For 7 years, silence. Then one day, that book became Atomic Habits. His name, James Clear. It wasn't luck. It was the invisible hours. Framework, the daily code. 1. Tiny is mighty. Even 20 minutes daily beats 3 hours once a week. 2. Stack your habits. Attach the new skill to something you already do. After coffee, I speak for 10 minutes. 3. Remove friction. Keep your tools ready, no setup excuses. 4. Reward the process, not results. Track streaks, not perfection. 5. Identity shift. Say, I'm the kind of person who shows up. Bonus for English learners. When you don't feel like practicing, whisper, I train, not when I'm ready, but until I'm ready. Record yourself for just 2 minutes speaking about your day. Even broken English counts. Because fluency isn't built in lectures, it's built in daily micro moments. Emotional close discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when no one claps, no one watches, no one cares yet. Because one day, the world will ask, how did you get so good? And you'll answer, while they rested, I practiced. Slogan, show up anyway. Now that you've learned to show up daily, it's time to face the next truth. Mastery isn't built in weeks, it's forged in years. Welcome to the long game. Rule 4. Embrace the 10,000 hour rule. Truth call out. Everyone wants mastery, no one wants mileage. They want the glory of the expert without the years of invisible effort that built the expert. But mastery has a price tag, and it's spelled in hours. The psychology of the long game humans are wired for short-term rewards. That's why we love quick hacks, instant results, overnight success. Our dopamine system fires when we get small wins, not slow progress. But real mastery lives in the quiet middle, the space between starting and shining. The grind gap. That's where most people quit, not because it's impossible, but because it's boring. Storytelling. The pianist who outweighted talent. A music researcher once studied the world's top pianists. He found that every prodigy practiced roughly the same total time before mastery, around 10,000 hours. None were born better. They just stayed longer. You see, time compounds and practice is interest on your potential. Framework, the 10,000 hour reality map. 1. Stop timing success. Mastery doesn't work on deadlines. It works on devotion. 2. Track hours, not hype. Measure effort, not applause. 3. Use boredom as your compass. The moment it feels repetitive, you're training the right muscle. 4. Reward patience. The slower it feels, the deeper it's sinking in. Bonus for English learners. Keep a practice ledger. Every time you speak, listen, or write, log the minutes. Watch your total hours rise like savings in a bank. Say this. Every minute compounds. Every repetition counts. Repeat it as your mantra when you feel slow. Emotional close. Time doesn't respect talent, it respects consistency. Slogan. 10,000 hours or nothing. Once you accept the long game, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need massive leaps. You only need tiny, relentless improvement. That's where the 1% rule begins. Rule 5. Practice kaizen. The 1% rule. Truth call out. You don't need to change your life overnight. You need to change it slightly every single day. We overestimate what we can do in a week and underestimate what we can do in a year. The psychology of microgrowth. Your brain loves small wins. They release dopamine, the you're getting better signal. That's why micro progress keeps you hooked longer than giant goals. In Japanese philosophy, this is called kaizen continuous, Incremental improvement. Tiny habits. Huge impact. Storytelling. The British cycling revolution. In the early 2000s, British cycling was mediocre. Then coach Dave Brailsford applied kaizen. He improved every part by just 1%. The seats, the uniforms, the tyres, even the pillow they slept on. In 5 years, they dominated the Olympics. Not because of one big change, but thousands of micro ones. Framework, the 1% system. 1. Start ridiculously small. 1 sentence a day. 1 push-up. 1 page. 2. Stack small wins. Habit builds identity faster than intensity. 3. Celebrate completion, not perfection. 4. Ask daily. What's my 1% today? Bonus for English learners. Don't try to sound perfect. Try to sound slightly better than yesterday. Record day. 1. Record day 30. You'll hear the miracle kaizen built. Say aloud. Fluency grows in whispers, not shouts. Emotional close small steps are easy to ignore until they build a staircase to mastery. Slogan. 1% forever. But 1% improvement only matters if your growth comes from real experience, not fake noise. And that brings us to your next test. Learning from fire, not fireworks. Rule 6. Learn from real fire, not fireworks. Truth call out. Information is everywhere, but wisdom is rare. We're drowning in tutorials, but starving for transformation. Because most people chase fireworks, shiny ideas, motivational videos, quick quotes instead of stepping into real fire pain, practice, and feedback. The psychology of comfort learning. Watching is easy. Doing is painful. That's why the brain loves consumption. It feels like progress without risk. But you can learn to swim by reading about water. You have to drown a little first. Storytelling. The apprentice blacksmith. In a small Japanese forge, an apprentice spent 3 years just hammering the same shape. Every day, burns, smoke, frustration. He asked his master, "When will I make a sword?" The master replied, "When the hammer moves without your mind." That's the difference between students and craftsmen. Framework. The fire test. 1. Apply what you learn within 24 hours. Knowledge decays fast without use. 2. Seek feedback, not validation. Growth begins when ego dies. 3. Measure pain as progress. If it burns, you're building muscle. 4. Consume less, execute more. Bonus for English learners. Stop watching English lessons all day. Start speaking, making mistakes, and hearing yourself improve. Tell yourself, "My mistakes are proof I'm alive in this language." Emotional close fire doesn't destroy gold, it purifies it. Slogan. Learn from fire. Once you've walked through the fire, the next stage begins turning what you've learned into teaching. Because the fastest way to master is to teach. Rule 7. Teach to master truth. Call out. You don't really understand something until you can explain it simply. The psychology of teaching. When you teach, your brain reorganizes knowledge. It finds gaps, forces clarity, and solidifies understanding. That's why teachers often learn faster than students. Explaining is thinking out loud. Storytelling. Feynman's trick. Physicist Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize winner, used a method called the Feynman technique. He'd take a complex idea and explain it like he was teaching a child. If he couldn't, he didn't truly understand it. That's how he mastered physics, by simplifying chaos. Framework. The Teach to Learn code. 1. Explain out loud. Pretend you're teaching a friend what you just learned. 2. Simplify until it clicks. Confusion means you're close to clarity. 3. Share your learning publicly. Post. Speak. Write. 4. Refine your explanations. Each version. Deeper mastery. Bonus for English learners. Start a mini blog or YouTube short. Teach a grammar point or explain a quote in English. When you teach, you stop memorizing, you start owning. Say, "If I can teach it, I own it." Emotional close to master something? Stop studying it. Start teaching it. Slogan: teach to learn. Now that you've started sharing, it's time to measure. Because what gets tracked gets mastered. Rule 8. Track like a scientist. Truth call out. What you don't measure, you can't improve. Dreams are emotional. Data is directional. Masters use both. The psychology of tracking creates awareness. Awareness creates control. Without numbers, your brain lives in illusion, thinking you're improving when you're actually looping. Scientists don't guess. They measure. So should you. Storytelling. The Journal of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant tracked everything: shots made, misses, hours trained. While others relied on motivation, he relied on math. His progress wasn't luck, it was logged. Framework. The tracking blueprint. 1. Choose 3 metrics: hours practiced, sessions completed, feedback logged. 2. Review weekly. Adjust, don't judge. 3. Celebrate data, not drama. 4. Make tracking visible. A wall calendar, a spreadsheet, a streak app. Bonus for English learners. Track your speaking minutes. Example: I spoke 70 minutes this week. Progress you can see becomes progress you can believe. Say aloud: data is discipline made visible. Emotional close dreamers hope. Scientists prove. Slogan: track like a scientist. But even with data, you must protect the most fragile resource of all, your focus. Rule 9. Train in silence. Let results speak truth. Call out. You don't need to announce your grind. You need to finish it. Noise kills mastery. The psychology of quiet work. Every time you post your goals, you get a dopamine hit. The brain feels rewarded prematurely. That satisfaction kills execution. That's why true masters disappear for months. They don't talk, they train. Storytelling. The silent season. During the pandemic, a young man stopped posting online. Every day he studied, practiced, repeated. 2 years later, he came back fluent, fit, focused. People said, "Where have you been?" He smiled. Building. Framework. The silence protocol. 1. Go dark for 90 days. No announcements, no updates. 2. Let your calendar, not your mouth, prove your discipline. 3. Reward yourself privately. 4. Return when the results are undeniable. Bonus for English learners: practice silent fluency. Instead of telling people I'm learning English, just let them hear you speak months later. Say, I train in silence. I speak with results. Emotional close silence is the secret sound of power. Slogan: build quietly, erupt loudly. When you train in silence long enough, something changes. Your identity starts to rebuild itself. That's your next evolution. Rule 10. Rebuild your identity around discipline. Truth. Call out. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. The psychology of identity change. Habits fail because they fight the old you. To create lasting change, you must become someone who doesn't negotiate with discipline. Identity. Behavior repeated enough times to become truth. Storytelling. The marathoner's shift. A man wanted to try running. He kept quitting. One day, he said, I'm not trying to be a runner. I'm one. That single identity shift changed everything. He didn't have to run. He simply runs because that's who he is. Framework. The Identity Shift System 1. Write your new identity. I'm the kind of person who, or Archo. 2. Prove it daily. Action builds evidence. 3. Eliminate old labels. Stop saying I'm lazy. Say I'm learning consistency. 4. Repeat your new self until it feels real. Bonus for English learners. Stop saying my English is bad. Start saying, I'm an English speaker in progress. Every time you speak, your new identity gets louder. Emotional close discipline isn't something you do. It's someone you become. Slogan. Be the person who shows up. Once your identity transforms, you'll realize the world will try to distract you again. And you must protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Rule 11. Protect your focus from noise. Truth. Call out. Your attention is your most valuable currency and the world is stealing it, second by second. The psychology of distraction. Every ping, notification, and scroll hijacks your brain's reward system. Distraction feels urgent, but adds nothing. Focus feels boring, but builds empires. Storytelling. The monk and the phone. A young monk asked his teacher, "How do I find peace?" The master said, "Put down the noise that doesn't belong to you." In silence, he found clarity. In clarity, he found purpose. Framework. The focus shield. 1. Set no notification zones, morning and night. 2. Create a focus ritual, 1 candle, 1 playlist, 1 hour of no noise. 3. Replace scrolling with studying, turn temptation into training. 4. Audit your energy. People, apps, habits, keep what feeds your focus. Bonus for English learners. Use airplane mode when you study. Let English be your meditation. Just you, your voice, your words. Say aloud, "Focus is my superpower." Emotional close distraction is the enemy of destiny. Slogan. Protect your focus like your future. And once you've mastered focus, you'll reach the summit not of success, but of peace. Because mastery isn't about being better than others. It's about being whole within yourself. Rule 12. Live the mastery code. Truth call out. You thought mastery was about skills. It's not. It's about who you become in the process. The psychology of fulfillment. Humans chase goals to feel worthy. But once you reach mastery, you realize the work was the reward. Mastery is peace in progress, joy in repetition, gratitude in grind. Storytelling. The calligraphers. Peace. A master calligrapher was asked how he stays motivated after 40 years. He smiled. "I don't practice to improve. I practice to remember who I am." That's the end game when your craft becomes your meditation. Framework. The mastery mindset. 1. Detach from outcome. You already won by showing up. 2. Serve others with your skill. Mastery without service is ego. 3. Balance ambition with stillness. Work hard. Rest deeply. 4. Live like a craftsman. Humble, curious, consistent. Bonus for English learners. Don't just learn English for success. Learn it to connect, to understand, to grow. Say, "English is not my subject. It's my superpower." Final emotional close mastery isn't a destination. It's a decision to show up, to improve, to love the process even when no one watches. The code is simple. Kill the talent myth. Pick your mountain. Show up daily. Play the long game. Improve by 1%. Learn from fire. Teach to master. Track like a scientist. Train in silence. Rebuild your identity. Protect your focus. And live the code. Because in the end, you don't become an expert to impress the world, you become one to remember your own power. Slogan. Mastery is not what you do. It's who you become. You've reached the end. But this isn't the end of a video. It's the beginning of your new life. Because somewhere inside you, while you were listening, something changed. Maybe it was small, a spark, a shift, a whisper. But you felt it. The voice that says, "I'm done watching. I'm ready to become." That's not motivation. That's remembrance. You're remembering who you were before fear, before doubt, before comparison drowned you. A creator, a learner, a warrior of progress. You see, this channel isn't just about tips, rules, or strategies. It's about us, a community of people who believe that slow progress is sacred, that showing up matters more than showing off, and that mastery isn't a gift, it's a decision made daily. We don't chase perfection here. We chase truth. The truth that every small action counts, that your words, your hours, your struggles, they're not wasted. They're the raw material of your transformation. So if you've ever felt behind, unworthy, or invisible, look around. You're not alone anymore. This space was built for people like you, people who still believe in the power of effort. Because the world needs less noise and more makers. Less talkers, more doers. And that's who you are, becoming one rule, one repetition, one day at a time. And listen, it's okay to start messy. It's okay to be scared. The path of mastery has always started with shaking hands and uncertain steps. What matters is that you start. Today. Not someday. Not when you're ready. Because readiness is born in motion. So take a breath. Feel your heartbeat. That's your reminder you're still in the game. Still capable. Still becoming. And if this message resonated with you, if you felt seen, challenged, or reawakened, then stay with us. Join this journey. Subscribe not just to a channel, but to a commitment to live better, learn deeper, and rise higher. Because every week, we'll walk this path together, step by step, retraining the mind, rebuilding the heart, and reclaiming the power that's always been yours. So wherever you are right now, promise yourself this. Don't just watch. Act. Don't just learn. Live. Don't just dream. Train. The rules are simple, but they only work if you do. So subscribe. Start today. Live the rules. Your future self is waiting, and it's time to meet them.